have asked me about the name of O2, and he said there is a giant company and we all know it, which is the O2 telecommunication in Germany and in Europe and in the UK. So that was a risk I took, but it's a calculated risk because I did my own research and I found out that nobody can claim the ownership of a chemical name such as O2 and H2O. It will be a vision for me to be bigger than them. So that's a calculated risk. When we started O2, I started with one of my friends. Her name is Nariman. We were all two of us in Al Qusais, in an office where there is no telephone, no internet, and mobile phone. There was no reception. So it was such a challenging period. However, we had three things: passion, know-how, and belief, and dedication. Know-how is very important, extremely important. And many entrepreneurs will come and say, oh, we were sitting in the coffee shop and say, let's open a laundry. Let's do this. That's not entrepreneurship, by the way. You should have know-how in what you do. Or you partner with someone else who has a know-how, like the Google story. So here it comes the collaboration between entrepreneurs. Google, 5 people behind it. Facebook, 6 people behind it. Apple, many people behind it. It's not just one-man show. And looking back to 5 years ago when we established O2, we faced a lot of challenges. One of the biggest challenges is that the advertising industry is hugely controlled by the big players, by the international agencies. Talk about Leo Burnett, YNR, TBWA. And small agencies were not competing at all with them. They were not competing at all. And there was a gap, which I figured out that gap, and I said, okay, I'm going to fill that gap. There is no middle-sized agency that has a network in the region and has multidisciplinary services. Because in the marketing, you have interactive branding, advertising, marketing, and PR. So we said, okay, we're going to establish a network company that has offices all around the GCC and offer the clients integrated services. That spot was not taken, even by international companies. So we took that initiative. We started, we believe that we can do it. And you know who told me, how the story? When I sat with my friends, Talal, and many of them who are in the industry, and I said, come, Saad, come, let's do it together. They all refused. They said, no, they will eat you. It's a competitive market, man. Stick to your job, I don't know what. There are many advertising agencies, because my plan was to establish an advertising agency. I said, no, don't open it. So many advertising agencies. I believe them, and I trusted. I didn't open an advertising agency. I opened a marketing communications agency. I believe that the best advice will come from those who discourage you. These are the answers of success. The core problem in the Arab world is basically that the society itself, they don't know how to deal with entrepreneurs. What do I mean by they don't know how to deal with entrepreneurs? Basically, the first quality of entrepreneurs, they fail a lot. So there should be a quality in the Arab world to accept failures, to accept them, to understand why did they fail. But the problem when you fail, they will put you in a corner of failures and they start saying, oh, he failed. But if we understand why he failed, and because he was trying to do something different, then that entrepreneur will try again and again and again. Take for example, J.C. Penney. He got bankruptcy 3 times. The second thing is the government. I don't understand the UAE government has done a lot for entrepreneurs, and I think more than needed. But looking at other governments, no, they didn't do anything. First of all, the law does not protect people who fail. That's first thing. Entering new markets. For me, I could enter Hong Kong market in a couple of days, where it took me 2 years to enter Saudi market. If the market are more regulated towards opening barriers for entrepreneurs, then entrepreneurs will have a better exposure. Like for example, if I am an entrepreneur in a consumer products in the UAE, my maximum target is a couple of millions. But if the whole Arab world is open for me, that's 400 million. That's a lot. The barriers between the government has to be taken away. If you are a GCC resident or a national with the nationality of the GCC, one of the GCC countries, you can enter any GCC country easily. But if you are Syrian or Lebanese, it's very difficult. One day or another, we will witness young Arab leaders that they will change something globally, which I'm striving to see. I'm looking forward to see a young Arab leader who would change something globally, who will be like Steve Jobs, who will be like Tom Peters, who will be like Jack Welch, who will be like Warren Buffett. Another thing that we lack is fear of exposing our brands globally. Apart from Emirates Airlines, Qatar Airways, the airline company, which is naturally to go global. So I'm not going to say Emirates went global. If you look at the sovereign funds around the world, how many sovereign funds are there? 10, 20 maximum? Half of them is from here. Sovereign funds, I'm talking about the funds who control the entire world economy. Half of them is from Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and Saudi. So it's so ironic that we have all this money, and yet if you go to UK, you barely don't see any brand except Emirates and Qatar Airways. I really look forward for these sovereign funds to come back here and take risks, invest in hundreds of entrepreneurs to get one. Like Silicon Valley in the San Francisco, where investors invest in many, many, many entrepreneurs to get one, like Facebook. And here we think that, Facebook, what? My dear. They invested in tens of Facebook concepts till they get Facebook. Or Twitter. Twitter now valued more than Starbucks. Imagine. Competing with the big boys, I call it. However, I'll give two examples here. One from Saudi market. An entrepreneur has established a concept like Costa called Dr. Cafe. Amazing. I mean, he adopted the concept of Costa and Starbucks, and he started his own. Where did he open? He went to naive places where Costa and Starbucks would never thought of going to that place. An entrepreneur, when he look into these bad or huge circumstances or challenges, he shouldn't just sit and say, I will not get spaces. I don't know what. No, you sit and challenge it. Accept the quota and go against the norm like this guy. He faced barriers of opening in Jeddah. So look at how ironic is that Starbucks could open all over the Saudi, and he's a Saudi entrepreneur. He could not. We opened our office in Hong Kong in October 2009, in the middle of the crisis. Why? I don't know. Till now, people ask me why. I said, I don't know. Just do it, man. Just go global. I mean, if you don't learn now, when I am late 20, early 30, when I will learn when I become 40 with kids? Hong Kong was my dream because it's the only place that can take you to China, and China is the future. In the 80s to 90s, people used to say, go west. I think now we have to go east. So I am going east. I believe if one day I become the president of my own country, hope, I will create a course in the universities for the government. I'll call it the art of listening, because that's what we miss in the Arab world, is for our government to listen to us. It's very important, by the way. Listening is an art. Go to the universities, go to the streets, talk to people, and explain to them, and hear from them what they want to achieve. Because at the end of the day, 400 million, that's a lot of people. I mean, if we close just the Arab world and we create Starbucks that cater the Arab world, we will be the richest nation from Starbucks. You know, the Ghitra Na'gal, that's the most ironic thing I ever seen in my life, is that we import 70% of them from Europe. Yes. Chanel, Cartier, they all manufacture in Europe and they export it, and even local brands in Saudi are made in Europe, in London and in UK. Yes, that's true. Shock you, right? So if we create a factory to create our own, it's a nation-level challenge that the whole Arab world has together, put their hands together and say, yes, we want to make this happen. And I don't see that happening before, I don't know. I want to be optimistic, so hopefully one day it will happen.